You take a steak and you put the steak in the blender. What's up, guys? So I made it to Malibu. I'm here at Laird Hamilton, Gabby Reese's house. This pool is legendary, and I'm here with my buddy Luca Padua, one of the most decorated, most incredible big wave surfers in the world. There is no hyperbole in that statement, guys. Luca's gonna put me through a pool workout. Gabby and Laird are gonna give me some wisdom and put me through a pool workout. I'm gonna get to hang out in the sauna with these guys. Like, this is amazing. So I'm gonna take you guys with me on this day. You guys might know that I'm a surfer, but I basically suck at surfing, so I'm just intermediate at best. I have a pool in Costa Rica. I love breath holding, but I'm a novice at this too. So you're gonna get to see me suffer in this video. And hopefully Luca doesn't have to give me CPR or any sort of rescue breathing. But thank you for taking me through this, brother.
For sure.
In case you guys didn't know, Luca is one of our sponsored athletes at Heart and Soil. And we're incredibly proud that this beast is repping desiccated organs. So maybe later in the video we'll get some organs in a smoothie. But let's get into it, my man.
Yeah, dude, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
So good for like surfing and stuff. Yeah. Oh, it's good for just to move in the water. Yeah.
Changes your cardio. When you can free breathe, which I call everything above the surface of the water, that's all free breathing. That means you can breathe when you want, how you want.
Right.
When you're there, there's only one place you get air, and that's on the top.
Yeah.
So those are big differences.
Yeah.
We're gonna go into a max wattage on the bike, and then as you start to taper off, you just get off, grab the weight, and then we're doing some vertical jumps. So obviously holding your breath when you're underwater, breathing per rep when you're on the surface. But think about elevating your heart rate. If you're exposed to a high level of stress, get in the water, you're forced to work through that. Use your breath to recover and focus on the task at hand, which is jumping to the surface. Your big wave training right there.
Let's go.
Well, here we are. We're in Malibu. We just wrapped up a pool training session here with Paul. Day one install pool work. It's complex because one, you're dealing with the element of the water, and two, we're removing air from the equation. So anytime you do that, the environment gets to be quite stressful. So Paul did great. There's a lot of nuance to focus on when moving through the water. And so day one, this is like, this is the surf training that really goes this distance in the big ocean in big wave surfing. What we're going through today with Paul is a little bit of stress exposure, and we start to create environments so he can find out who he is under pressure. We can identify who he needs to be, and then we can give him some tools, especially breathing protocols, to close that gap and be that guy. One thing we can do in the pool is regen and recovery work. Another thing we can do is real ballistic jumping. You'll see Paul jumping with the weights so things get loaded. And then we can also sequence these things together where we're going CO2 tolerance, mental fortitude, we're doing long extended breath hold swims, we're mixing that up with the jumps and creating absolute chaos for the nervous system. So again, this all goes back to learning how to react to things that are out of your control and learning how to control the things that you can't control. So Paul did great, man. It's great to have you here.
Dude, it's amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, dude.
Appreciate it so much. I can't wait to try more of it. Yeah. I'm not trying to get into big wave surfing. I'm just trying to survive like a solid 8-footer on the head, So not 60-footers like this guy.
Oh,
so
come on.
Just let me survive an 8-footer and I'll be all right.
Man. Well, the patterns are the patterns. The patterns you see in smaller waves, 2 feet, 6 feet, 8 feet. There's the same things you see in giant surf, 50, 60 feet. It's the same thing, just blown up on that different scale. So
I just got to ask you, like, what is it like having a 50-foot wall of water about to crash on your head? Like, how do you even think about that?
It's interesting. It's actually cartoonish. It's like something that you, again, these waves they're waves that you drew in your journal as a little kid in your school book. And so when you get in that situation, there's a telephone pole sized wave landing on your teeth. It actually is surreal. But again, just you got to be in the moment. And that's why this training is so great. It helps us focus on the here and now. And when you do that and you face that with courage and presence, you can get through.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Luca taught me a lot about pool stuff today with Gabby and Laird, and I'm about to show him maybe one small little thing. So this is the best part, guys. Ready? You take a steak and you put the steak in the blender. What the heck? All right, cool. So then that whole steak is going in the blender. We'll do some raw milk. Yeah.
How many blueberries?
Keep going. Yep, perfect.
Whole bag.
All right, whole bag.
In there?
Do we have any hardened soil?
Yeah, I do.
Let's do it. I got a whole box of hardened soil, bro. Most of my meat I cook, but if I'm running out of the house or I'm on the road, it's like so easy. And yes, we are risking food poisoning. I don't fucking care. Like, bring on the food poisoning. I don't care. I've never ever gotten sick doing this. If you drink a raw meat smoothie and you are weak, you may get sick. That is your disclaimer. Absolutely, you can get sick eating raw meat. Absolutely, you can get sick eating sushi. Absolutely, you can get sick eating raw spinach. I'll let you pour it. So, don't ever drink a raw meat smoothie unless you want to be fucking awesome. And just realize that, yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. Go ahead, pour it out.
That was a chunky pour.
Yeah, that's the best when you get a little chunk of. That's the bonus when you get like the chunk of steak.
Yeah.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Thank you for everything today.
Thank you. Paul, thank you.
Thank you, man. I hope it improves the smoothie.
What has been the best cut blend-wise to throw in with the smoothie?
I mix it up. You know what was cool about that? That was in New York, which is a perfect cut to throw in there because most people throw away the tendon. There's a big tendon and a bunch of fat on the back of a New York that most people just throw away. But if you put it in a blender, you can just blend the whole thing up and you're eating the whole tendon with all the collagen. Yeah. So a New York works good. A ribeye works good because you're gonna get all the fat in a ribeye. The New York has more collagen, probably because of the tendon. I like skirt steak and I like sirloin flap just because they have like a nice texture and the fat. But I mean, I mix it up, I think that the worst cut would probably be a filet mignon because you don't necessarily want to throw a $40 steak into a blender. Yeah. All right, guys. So the sun is out. I just did a podcast with Gabby. We're back outside with Lucca. Like, tell me about this. This is insane, guys. I don't know if you guys are surfing, but this is a tow board. This is different than any surfboard I've ever seen. First of all, how much does this thing weigh?
This thing's probably pretty close to 20 pounds.
20 pounds, because there's a weight on it.
18. Add a little extra weight. This is a 5-pound dive weight. So think about Newton's third law, object in motion stays in motion. So when you're getting onto these giant waves, sometimes if you're towing using this board, you got to release further out than where the wave is breaking. There's certain flat spots, or maybe you're navigating different surface texture. And so you need your board to be heavy to keep that thing moving downhill.
20 pounds. How much does a regular surfboard weigh?
Oh man, lighter boards with lighter construction and glass. 3 pounds.
3
pounds.
Yeah, 2. Yeah.
5 pounds.
Yeah.
This one, I like them. Sometimes I like them a little bit lighter. This one actually is, if we threw it on the scale, it's right around 17. 12 pounds pretty much with just the construction, maybe a pound with the traction, the straps, and then this is 5 pounds of extra weight. And then the other interesting thing is we have it, you can't see it because of the paint, but this is, we have lead weights in the tail as well.
Oh, wow, okay.
So if you look at this board, right, if you were to hold this board, it's tail heavy, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely tail heavy.
Is we balance the board. If you put your hand directly in between your feet, we balance the board in between your feet.
Okay.
So not if you go center board, watch.
Right, super,
right?
yeah.
So you're essentially turning this thing into a tail heavy, and you are like a human trophy truck. So this is to navigate the bump and the chop and everything else you're going to encounter on a giant wave.
So you make it tail heavy because it rides a giant wave better that way because it does the chop better.
Yes, and it depends. It's at the end of the day, there's some end user preference there, and also it depends on where you are and what type of wave you're riding. Like Maverick stands up very quick, so you don't actually have to track in for very long. Certain guys would say I like having a little bit more weight front heavy, like heavy in the nose. If you're trucking way down, like a Nazare, guys will ride really heavy boards that are balanced heavy so they can
in the front.
Yeah.
So different boards,
Totally. And then at Mavericks, I like to use a quad. Super fast and holds in, like if you're going to pull into the barrel, it does very well in the barrel.
Uh-huh.
At a wave like Nazare, where you're dealing with huge, giant chops and turbulence and speed, and you're putting your board on rail a lot. You think about it, this is on rail, and you hit a big bump, you have nothing in the center holding on. So they like to have a center fin, so they'll ride thrusters there a lot.
Depending on the wave.
Mavericks, this is my go-to board. Obviously, if you're a surfer, you know what toe surfing is, and if you're not toe surfing, we have a board with foot straps, and you get pulled into a wave by a jet ski. So there's a tow line connected to the ski. You see a giant wave coming, you go, okay, I want to catch it right there with this amount of speed. Your driver puts you on it in the perfect spot, and then it's up to you. Now you got this open canvas and a high performance board versus paddle and surfing. You're riding a 9 or 10 foot board, and you're
on a big wave.
Own two arms to position yourself.
Yeah.
So both are really fun and terrifying, and
Crazy. Now this is my surfboard in Costa Rica is 19.25 inches or centimeters wide. This is 16.25. This is the most narrow thing I've ever seen. So you're riding a very narrow board. It's almost like a gun. You were just telling me that like it doesn't even have a lot of curve on the rails.
No, doesn't. So pretty straight outline, because we just want this thing ultimately to point and shoot and be able to hold a line. You're dealing with a lot of speed, and obviously when you're surfing bigger waves, you're not doing the same real tight, snappy, aggressive turns. Everything's a little bit more drawn out. So at that speed.
So it's narrow, but this is only a 6 foot board.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. Like it's not like that's such a small board for like, what's the biggest wave you've ever surfed on this board?
You'll appreciate this, and we can throw in some clips from this.
Yes,
we had some good moments, but there's a great line that goes, big waves aren't measured in feet and inches, they're measured in increments of fear. So you're talking about a 4-dimensional, 5-dimensional force.
Right.
How do we just put a 2-dimensional measurement on it? We can't. Like, think about, yes, height is one thing, but also the volume, the power. Laird's got a great line. He says, waves are like dogs. You could have a small dog that'll bite the shit out of you, and you could have a big fluffy dog that's super friendly. Right. And you could have a big giant dog that'll bite the shit out of you too. So waves are the same way. There's certain waves that are a lot shorter in that 2-dimensional, often like get obsessed over measurement, that are a lot more scary than some of the giant ones that you see.
Where dudes, all we think about is fucking length and size. And it's like, I'm not a big wave surfer, so I'm just thinking like, and I think most people watching this are like, all they think about, I mean, I'm an intermediate surfer at best. And people ask me like, what's the biggest wave you ever surfed? And I'm like, it's not very fucking big, but like, I mean, like you've surfed like, I guess you've surfed very heavy waves on this that are far bigger than this house.
For sure.
That's all that people need to know. Like, that's crazy, bro. Like I've never seen a wave that's even a third of that big in my life, Yeah. That's insane. Like,
it's beautiful. It really is. Like when you're there and you're in that nature in her most raw form, it's incredible.
What is going through your brain, or nothing is going through your brain, when you are dropping into a wave that is bigger than this house?
It's a great question, and it goes back to that conversation we were having in the sauna earlier about like that first person point of view. Sometimes you're in, like you were just saying with like podcasting and sharing information on health and diet, like sometimes you're just in the flow and sometimes you're not. And it just depends. You're kind of in this intermittent back and forth between being, okay, I need to really focus right now because this is some rugged terrain and I need to make sure I get right there with a certain amount of speed. And if I don't do that, this whole thing is going to come crashing down on me. And there's sometimes where it's a little bit more, it's free and it's fun. And even if it's in a big wave, you're in less of a survival mode. So it's really the environment is going to dictate what you're able to do and how you're feeling about it.
So would you say that in the most critical situations, there's probably less going through your head?
Absolutely.
Because you're just so locked in.
Yeah, absolutely. Same thing. It's those conversations we're having in the pool. Like, sometimes when you need to, like we say, like you need to focus, you really just need to pull back and you need to be present and take in the information. And a lot of times, again, that's why fear is so great, because it gives you that ability to see these things for what they really are and experience them for what they really are. So
we were talking in the sauna with Laird and you and Makua, and Laird and Makua were saying that they don't always remember their best waves. They remember the waves they crash on, but they don't remember the waves they did well because you're just sort of locked in. It's interesting,
Absolutely. Yeah, it goes back to, making sure you don't, at least from a biological standpoint, making sure you don't make that same mistake twice.
Yes.
you crash and something you did led to that happening. How do we make sure you don't do that same thing again? I'm sure your brain's logging that information a lot more than that one you made. And
Yeah.
when we think back to December 23rd at Mavericks this year was a monumental day in big wave surfing in Mavericks history. And I probably rode 30 plus waves that day. Can't remember many of the ones that I made. And I really remember the ones that
Really?
I got pounded on.
Oh man, we'll put some, can we put some clips from that in the,
Totally.
yeah, that would be amazing.
100%.
Yeah, that's
But
incredible. Was that the
this
day
is-
that you towed Aloe into the big one?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were like, yeah. And there were other huge ones out there that day too, but yeah.
A lot of big waves. That one was exceptionally
Uh-huh.
large.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Some
crazy.
great days, man. But
Yeah.
this is the trusty steed,
Love it.
and
Shout out to Heart and Soil. Look at that. I love that.
Thank
It's
you.
on your board. Yeah.
this is
I love it, bro.
loud and proud.
I love it.
Loud and proud.
Makes me so happy.
Yeah, having Heart and Soil, like, it's funny, like, obviously doing, we're shooting content and we're telling stories about Heart and Soil, but popping up in the morning and knowing that I have, like, high octane fuel
I love it,
in my
dude.
body before we surf all day long. Because you're also, like, these days, that, like, for example, December 23rd, we were in the water from 7:30 a.m. until 5:45, 6 p.m. until it was pitch black. Barely ate or drank a thing that entire day. And we were doing hot laps the whole time. So you're running off of pure adrenaline.
That's amazing.
And- but what we did that morning is we had a Heart and Soil smoothie. So
Okay.
we went raw milk, we went raw honey, we went Heart and Soil protein, and we sprinkled the whole package in there.
I love it, dude.
One big, and some frozen blueberries.
That's the way to do it, dude. I love that smoothie.
Ran off that all day long on the best day of our lives.
Oh
So,
my God.
Yeah,
Both you and Aloe.
tried and true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so cool, dude. I mean, it's so cool. It's just like getting people nutrients is what matters. This thing's incredible, bro. Thank you for telling me about your surfboard.
Absolutely.
All right, maybe you guys aren't as geeky about surfboards as I am, but I was like, oh my God, Luke, I want to see it.